the third chapter, 17th verse. Uh, sorry, we are not 17th, we are on the 16th, please. That's 135 on your book. This verse has been taken by the Bhagavad Gita in toto. We can, for all you can say, evidence, we know that this Upanishad was even before the Bhagavad Gita. The Upanishad literature is prior to the Bhagavad Gita. So this is a very famous verse. Sarvata panipadam tat sarvatokshishiro mukam sarvata shrutimaloke sarvamavritti tishtati. It has hands and feet everywhere, and eyes, heads, and faces everywhere, and it is possessed of ears everywhere. It exists among all creatures, pervading all. Now, we have seen the previous verses speaking in the same strain. This verse also is a kind of a continuation of that experience of the sage. Like I said, the Upanishadic literature is an experience. When he says it has hands and feet everywhere, there you are. What do you mean hands and feet everywhere? It. And eyes and heads and faces everywhere. And it is possessed of ears everywhere. And what does it do? It exists among all creatures, pervading them all. That's a very famous Sarvatapani Padam. Now, this and the next three verses are speaking of two aspects. Here we get a first aspect of the immanence of God. Now, when you say is immanent, we get a kind of philosophical conundrum. Yes, so the reality then suffers limitation, or if I'm ill, the reality also will come ill, or is it? If I'm blind, reality also will come blind, or something like that. So we have this. The moment you condition this reality into this world is there. And it has to, at the same time, it has to show that the basis of this world is the reality. Because we perceive this. Vedanta says we constantly perceive this reality. Why aren't we aware of it? And then Vedanta says, yeah, you perceive this, but this perception is a kind of a low grade, low intensity thumbnail view. A small kind of picture. The larger picture is there. So you got to remember that. Thumbnail view. Then that reality undergoes modification, undergoes changes, undergoes limitations. So is that? So to counter this charge, Advaita brings in one huge, you can say, philosophical discussion. We won't go into it fully, but there are two main doctrines in Advaita Vedanta. And what has happened is one doctrine went on to form a kind of separate, a kind of an ancillary school of Advaita Vedanta. One is Abhasavad and Vivartavad. Abhas is to shine, that reveals. That's why language, is called bhasha. It reveals. Yeah. Beautiful. And Bha comes from that root word to shine. That's why the sun is called Bhaskara. Anything that shines and reveals itself is that Bhas. It's Abhas. It's like it is an appearance that shines. Now, to most Advaita Vedantins, they say this appearance is an appearance. It's shining, of course, but it's not real. Now, this is the problem with reality and reality. So, there are some schools who say, no, the reality is directly perceived because this verse speaks about like this. Everywhere are his heads and hands and legs and feet and eyes and ears. It pervades everything. Now, they give the example of you look at yourself in a mirror. Is the reflection real or no? Yes. Why not? I'm seeing it. That's the abhasavada. That is that which revealed itself. It is there. I'm experiencing that reflection in the mirror. Now, we won't go into what is the mirror, but we're just talking about you and the mirror that's reflecting you. If there is a reality, it is being reflected, and the reflection is real. Yeah. Advaita Vedanta comes and says, yes, you experience this, but just on a kind of a temporary basis. How come? They say that the Upanishads also, the later verses also will speak about it. Uh, you know, how do we know consciousness? First thing, you cannot know it directly, not right now. You can understand it indirectly because it's functioning through the eyes and through the heads and through the legs and through our bodies, pervading everything. But if it's pervading everything and everywhere, there is a starting point. What is that? It is the intersection between this, what perceived as reality, and the absolute reality. There's a kind of intersection between what do you call the conditioned and experience of I to look. And it is here that you can experience consciousness diversified here in one's body. And then yeah, it's pervading everything. Now, if you know yourself properly, that knowledge can be repeated. The other day I was passing through a town and I seen rows and rows and rows of houses similarly built. I was just joking. These guys have saved on architectural fees. They've got one design, replicated. Yeah. So if you know yourself that the content of I, this knowledge can be replicated everywhere. So you know that the reality, the consciousness that's shining through this I and is being reflected there is the same content in everyone or every living being. This is what the idea is. Got it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now which is real? The relative or the absolute? So Vedanta says there are two grades of reality that are perceived. Really, we don't perceive the absolute reality. No, it is in that very content of consciousness that the relative and absolute, when they intersect, I emerges. The emergence of this I is a result of the absolute being reflected in this world. So, in technical languages, it is a intersection between the Saguna and Nirguna Brahman. So then you see, just a moment. Are there two grades of reality? So Vedanta will say, no, there's only one. So we'll come down to that later. But this particular verse is explaining that what we experience. And really, how do we really experience this? No, the word used is that sarvata padi pani padam tat, that. Now, when you're saying that reality, like I said, it has two, we can say. Uh, so when you look at yourself in the mirror, that reality is being reflected there. Yeah, you get apparently two. So some philosophers say, yes, that reflection is real there. The Buddhists say it's not real. And, there are dualists that say, that stand midway between uh, Advaita Vedanta and dualistic Vedanta, saying, no, actually, it's there, it's real. Hmm. Advaita Vedanta says, no, it's not really there. Because as you transcend this I, you transcend the world. And as you transcend the world, you come in touch with that which is pure consciousness, which is beyond all causation, all time, all space, and everything. So, what we see this universe, we see it through the I, this I, this I. And the I is a mixture, like I said, of this reality which has intersected there. This reflection and the real. Somewhere. Now, what has made this intersect, or what has created this? They bring in the concept of Maya. It is the, or if you can look at it like from the theological standpoint, it is the Divine Mother, it is Shakti. So, this Shakti, she comes and she makes the one into the many. This is what it is. So, when we say the reality, what is it I? It it is there in a waking state. Obviously, it is there in the dream state also. Because even though I may see myself as a clown in the dream, yet I recognize, no, the clown is me. I seen myself as a clown. Hmm. I seen myself as a tiger. Really? And I woke up and I found, oh, there is a kind of a recognition of this sense of I. And in lucid dreaming, it's clear that you can see yourself dream. You feel yourself separate from the dream. You're watching the dream. At the same time, you know you are dreaming. And this is the experience of almost all the people. Sometimes there are some people who are, have a heightened sense of this lucid dreaming. In the state of deep sleep, the very fact that when you wake up is that you remember that you are the person who went to sleep and you existed. You never say, oh, I went to deep sleep and I was dissolved in something which I don't really know. There is a perception even in deep sleep, but that is heightened when we wake up. Oh, yeah, because all my memories, all my faculties, and all my things, uh, are revived. Rather, I say there is no kind of a discontinuity in the state of deep sleep as well. So there is a kind of continuity of this sense of I. Now, what is the nature of this I? Yeah. Is it the ego? No, it's in Vedanta philosophy. It's not just the ego. The ego is also kind of a dim reflection of that content of consciousness. So now in neurology and all these studies of consciousness, they talk about the hard problem and the soft problem of consciousness. Mm, yeah, the hard we have the hardware, and here we are trying to see consciousness in the brain, and now there are studies in consciousness that say it's just not in the brain. It is that which impels life wherever there's life, and there's tremendous, you can say, development here. Wherever life vibrates, there is consciousness. So life vibrates in the trees and plants and animals and birds and even microbes and everything. Yes, there's consciousness. And this has been this teaching that it exists everywhere. Or it's God who is saying, I. God in this reality. So this is the manifested, you can say, universe. It partakes of that reality. It's called the conditioned reality or Saguna Brahman. Now, according to the first school, Abhasavad, the reflection is real and it's real and it's real. Finish. Closed. Chapter is closed. The reality has two levels, this and that. So Vedanta says, yes, it's okay. Uh, if the moment you transcend it, like when you transcend the waking and dream and deep sleep states, how? In the state of samadhi. In the state of samadhi, when you transcend all these three states, you come in touch with that reality as it is, unconditioned. There we are. And then you see this whole world as a kind of a reflection. But the reflection is, they say, not real. It stands midway between reality and unreality. The reflection is real, at the same time, not real. You got it? Mm. And the person who sees this experiences that, yes, it is real, and at the same time, not real. The sense of I, yeah, it is real, at the same time, it's not real because it's constantly being modified. So that's the reason why Advaita Vedanta goes saying it is something, it's a positive entity. At the same time, it is not a total negation. What you see is not a total negation. It does not exist at all. No, the Buddhist went for instance, there's nothing outside. Everything is a void. So what do you see? You see a kind of an illusion. And they give the well-known example of taking a kind of a lighted torch and whirl it around and round and round and round. And then you whirl it for a couple of times and you stop. And what do you see? You see the illusion, kind of a light, a kind of ring of light. Of course, neurology explains the persistence of vision that gives the. But they say this, that which you experience is not real. So Vedanta does not go along with that. It is totally unreal. So it makes this stand between the real and the unreal. So what we experience is a mixture always, always, always of reality and unreality. Mm. Yes, you feel, oh, I'm feeling so low today. I'm a worthless fellow. At the same time, after a couple of days, probably you perk up and say, no, I can throw this out. What rubbish is this? We constantly experience the the paradox of ourselves as being limited at the same time. No, I'm better than what people think of me. Or I'm not going to die. Something in me says that I'm not going to die. Something in me is going to live. What is that? So it has this mixture of reality and reality. It's a tremendous thing. So life is a mixture of reality and unreality. They do not say that it is unreal. So they call it indefinable, anirvachan. You experience that. You cannot put your finger on where exactly is I here. It's everywhere. Where exactly it is. But yet you have the tremendous feeling that yes, I do exist. Where does life form? Where does life exist? Yeah, it's here, everywhere. Can you point out to a particular place? Yes, somewhere in this I. So that's the reason why they say search here. Here is a place. So that's the metaphysical I has fragmented into, you know. And it's obvious when we rise above the ideas of individuality and even the personal God and even the ideas of the limited ideas of the world that we live in. It's like, we read these findings in modern physics about the quantum world. Now we know, but we do not experience it as it is. Can we experience it? Yes, we can. So there's always a kind of a contradiction in our, like I said, in our experience. We see this classical world of physics, classical world. At the same time, beneath this whole world is that quantum world. How do you sync both? Hmm, that's the difficulty. There's a theory of everything, and Einstein worked so hard for the rest of his life trying to bring both these disparate ideas of reality together. It's there everywhere. And gradually we come to this side. How do we cut this knot between these two orders of reality? Yeah, like I said, you hold on to this, find out that nature of this. So is it my nature? In a way. But if you find yourself as all pervading, then you have it. That's what is it. Sarvata, this, it has hands and feet everywhere, and eyes and heads and faces everywhere, and it is possessed of ears everywhere. It exists amongst all creatures. It's talking about whom? It's actually talking about you. Me? Am I? Am I this? Yes. And simple. I think we can go to the next. This was a little heavy, but it is necessary to the Advaita position is Vivartavad, and that's Abhasavad. Mm, so Advaitins, they make a clever. They do not define anything uh, in absolute terms because they know they'll get caught. They are slippery. Sneaky. So we go to the next verse. The first line of the next verse also is taken from the Bhagavad Gita. It actually comes in the 13th chapter. The chapter is on the field and the knower of the field. The field is what? the body. There it is. And who's the knower of the field? That reality within. It knows. So both are kind of juxtaposed. Once you understand your body is a kind of a field, this whole universe is a field, they obviously should, there ought to be an owner of this field, the knower of this field. And that is it. It's a beautiful chapter, 13th chapter. It'll take some time by the time we reach there. We are still on the second. I'll read the translation. Page 136, third chapter, 17th verse. It appears as though possessed of the qualities of all the organs, yet it is devoid of all the senses, sensory organs. It is the ordainer and the lord of all. It is the refuge of all, and is great. There. You have this sometimes both, contradictory. It is indwelling, yet it is all pervading. Hey, well, how come it can be indwelling and yet all pervading? Yes, you get your philosophical language right. So that's why Advaita Vedanta comes with these two orders of reality, the Saguna and Nirguna Brahman. And the juxtaposition is that I, which and it stands between the I is experienced, and at the same time, there are different experiences of that I because of different qualities, triguna. When you're sometimes waking, sometimes dream, and sometimes deep sleep, and sometimes you transcend everything. And then you come in touch with that reality where there is no I. So they're not just trying to be smart philosophically or trying to escape that. They are speaking about the reality. So when in this first thing they say, it appears as though possessed of the qualities of all the organs. There it is. It appears as though. And then he said, yet it is devoid of all the sensory organs. That is the ordainer and the lord of all. It is the refuge of all, and it's great. Sarvendriya guna bhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam, sarvasya prabhum ishanam, sarvasya sharanam brihat. So here it is. Where you must understand these. It is shining there. In Shankaracharya's Nirvana Ashtakam, he chanted on once a month on a Wednesday. I am neither the body, nor the mind, nor the intellect, nor the ego. I am neither born nor died. And neither have father, mother. This I have no religion. I have no guru. I am not the enjoyer. Nothing. He keeps on negating everything, and then in the last verse he said, "I am everything." Everything. So here also we get two ideas of it's not contradictory, it's complementary. Otherwise, you will not be able to explain yourself. How do you explain yourself? In relation to everyone. You are a mother, you are a daughter, and you can say you are a grandmother, and you are a sister, and you're this. You can explain yourself through references. I live here, I was born there, I was married here. Hey, what about you? Actually, you know what? This is me. You've laid down the whole thing. And I say, which is you? No, this is my child. I take this. This is my chair. Don't touch it. Yeah, yeah, really. This is how we spread out. As we grow in knowledge, we'll spread out some more and more and more. And then we come to this stage where all these sense organs and mind and eyes and ears and everything are mine. I've spread myself out across the universe. That's why they say, catch that eye. You got it? Yeah. So there it is.
Easy.
Ah. So because Advaita Vedanta talks about you are experiencing the reality, but in a kind of a conditioned, limited way. As this eye, and what happens? How do you grow? Enlarge that eye, and you'll see yourself spreading all over. So Holy Mother, mm, she used to say that yes, everyone are my children. So one disciple said, even these lower creatures like the insects and all, and without batting an eyelid, she said yes. She had spread herself out. We generally say, no, this is my house, this is my car, this is my computer, this is my hand. And suppose due to some reason this hand has to be amputated. See, I had a hand. I'm not going to give up the idea. And there's also the phantom limb. So I had a hand, but it's not there anymore. So Shri Ramakrishna at one time is telling his disciple Swami Turiyananda, I cannot eat, I cannot talk. So he said, but I see you immersed in bliss. And you know what Sri Ramakrishna said? Oh, this rascal has caught me. He has understood that there's more to Ramakrishna than what people generally see. There is more to us than what people generally see. And you know that. It's obvious. And if somebody can come and write down deeply and see you as you are, as you think yourself, hey, this is the guy. Yeah, this is the nice guy. I love him. You feel a kind of a union there. And the same thing that Swami Vivekananda insisted, you tell your divine mother, uh, because a big pandit had come and said, you can keep your mind on that cancerous soul, because of that his mind was pure and one pointed. The very power of that mind will cure your disease. So Shri Ramakrishna said, I thought you were a pandit. I thought you were a wise man. I say, you're talking like a fool. That mind that has been given to God, how can I bring it down? That mind that he had, with that I had it spread all over, how can he bring it back and fix it here? His mind was all over. That's the reality of God. Now Swami Vivekananda not going to let me. No, you tell your divine mother. You tell her to cure you a little so you can eat. They say, see, this prayer does not come. I say, no, do it for us. You see, we need you. So he prayed to Kali. Since these boys, they're all young, these boys are saying that to cure that I can eat. You know what a divine mother showed her? Why? Here you are eating through all mouths. And he's saying, I felt so ashamed. And I'm not going to listen to you all now. So he had spread himself out. So his experiences were not just limited to his body, but to all bodies. A man was walking on the grass and he felt hurt. There. He cried out in pain. He had spread himself out. That's the idea. So if we can keep on spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading, there we are. We come to this. Yet at the same time, we know that we can transcend all this thing. In fact, you do know. How do we know? Yes, we know. Now you say, see, I don't know this. At the same time, you are self-aware. This and knowing the kind of a subject and object, you somehow know. It's ingrained in us that we are not going to die. There's something in there. You know that you're going to transcend death. At the same time, you know that I am going to die. The body is going to die. At the same time, you know that you're not going to die. That both are complementary. Both explain. Both. So here it says that it appears as though possessed of the qualities of all the organs. It is seeing, tasting, touching. So when we talk about, so is this reality? Here it is. Where are you searching for? Here it is. Now you're saying here is the where. You point it out here? This. Do you want a physical location? Yes, the scriptures give you a physical location here in the core of your heart. Here. Okay. Are you satisfied? A little. And what do I find there? Yeah, you find your individual consciousness. Okay. And then you go in and see what exactly is the nature of that individual consciousness. So this is so here it is. You don't need to go anywhere. It is first experienced very tangibly in our bodies. Amazing. In our minds, in our intellects, and in the I, and in the individuality. So we have, like I said, the appearance is there. Sometimes it can shake us. Oh, is this the reality? As though it appears as this. Yes. And that's what with Advaita Vedanta says. First, it's a divinization of our life and divinization of this universe. Whatever is known. That's why in that Bhagavad Gita, it's called the knowable, Gneya. I'll speak about the knowable, the Lord says. Gneyam yattat pravakshami. By knowing which you can know everything. So when we try to know this, the mixture of reality and reality, we push ourselves to the limits. And then the intellect through which we are trying to understand is overpowered. It's like a kind of a moth rushing towards fire. Hey, it's going to get killed. Don't use the death and the moth as a kind of a. It's an illustration. So the moth plunges into the fire. Yeah. So the individual consciousness merges. That which is known, you know yourself. At the same time, you don't know yourself. It goes and then it simply plunges into something which is absolute knowledge. Wow, here I am. Yeah, these. In fact, I was thinking of just passing through these two or three verses because they're a little heavy on this. So there's this reality. Where's the reality? And it's here. That is the reality. How do we say? Om Tat Sat. Om Tat. That to use. That is existence. Om is that existence. So when they talk about it is the ordainer and the Lord of all, the refuge of all, and it's great. We're not talking about kind of any personality. It's just trying to reveal to ourselves that a reality is possessed of all powers. It is great. It ordains everything because there's no one else. What? There's no Satan will come and spoil everything? Unfortunately, no. Because in Zoroastrianism, the religion of the Parsis, they have it's an old dualism. God creates it's Zarathustra. He creates a light, and then there's another guy comes, Ahriman. He creates a darkness, and they're both contesting. And that old dualism entered into the Babylonian religion and even Judaism and all these things. Just to, so in a way, it is that I is a mixture of this light and darkness, without personalizing it as God, or you can say Satan or Ahriman. So you know at the same time you do not know yourself. Nobody can say I do not know myself. At the same time, at Swami Vivekananda said, at times we do get a glimpse of your infinitude. At times you feel like you could embrace the whole world. Yes, it's a perfectly spiritual feeling. And everyone has experienced it. Saying the clouds part and the light pours in. And then after a while, clouds come back and there you are, your old self again. It is this kind of reality that's constantly knocking on your illusions. Give up this child's play. Give this up. Grow. What grow in what? We are constantly growing in knowledge, in love, in experience, in compassion. Yes, we constantly grow. That's an experience. And this growth, does it have a limit? No. Keep on growing. Keep on growing. So when that reality is kind of knocking on our doors from the behind open, it is impelling us to open our doors. And it is this knowledge. See, the Upanishads are very clear. It doesn't say just Ted was just talking. I just want to throw away all my, you can say what? Drawings and this and that. Useless. No. The Upanishads say no throwing away, no discarding anything. A sage goes to another sage. What is that by knowing which you know everything? Kasminnu bhagavo vignatam sarvamidam vignatam bhavati iti. Then he says there are two knowables. There are dve vidhe. There are two types of knowledge. One the lower and the higher. Low in the sense of it's not really lower, it's like kind of complementary. And the complement the lower he's saying is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and all this Atharva Veda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chanda, Nirukta, all secular sciences, all secular knowledge falls in this knowable. And what is the higher knowledge? By which you can know everything. It's an amazing thing that if you study an atom, you will know the nature of the universe. You study a grain of sand, you study a flower. So, how can you say I'm studying a flower? You are studying the universe. You study anything, you understand it. So, Vedanta says instead of taking grains of sand and this and that, it's why don't you study yourself? And as you study yourself, you keep on growing and growing and growing. You understand the whole universe. There you are. Yeah, it's an amazing, you can say. And that's what the theme of the Upanishads, one of the Upanishads, a young boy goes to his father and he's saying he was a little proud of his knowledge. He had learned so many things. And then his father sees that he's become kind of vain about his knowledge. And he said, have you asked that by knowing which you know everything? No. Maybe the teachers did not know, or they would have told me, and he created a big blunder. You cannot criticize your teacher. Simple as that. Father gives him nice scolding. But then the son says, okay, you teach me that. And then the father keeps on teaching. That's a great theme. And one of the themes is like, by knowing one lump of clay, you know all the clay in the universe. So this is what. Yeah, it's a tremendous. And then he keeps on saying, you are that, thou art that, tattvamasi. Yata somya ekena mrittindena sarvan vijnanam sat. If you know one lump of clay, you know all that is in the universe. Then he's saying, but he further gives an explanation. You go to that tree and get me the fruit of that tree. And it's called a Nyagroda fruit. He goes and gets it. So what do you see? I see the fruit. You break it open, he breaks it open. He breaks it open. And what do you see? I see some small black seeds. Oh, break them open. And he breaks them open. What do you see? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? It is from this nothing. The whole tree has emerged. The fruit and the fruit and the flower and the tree. What do you mean nothing? So here you are. You try to search yourself, search yourself, search yourself. And say, I am nothing. No, no. You are everything. From you has emerged all these things. This is the Odena, this is the refuge, and this is the great. So then he says, existence cannot come out of non-existence. There was never a time when this existence was never there. Otherwise, it cannot be existence. God cannot create the world at one particular point of time. Then it was non-existent then. And how come it came into existence? No, existence is existence transcending the three periods of time, transcending everything. It will be God created this world on this particular day and it will get over on this particular day. Sorry, we are living in an illusion. It's not existence at all. No, existence is existence. So from existence has existence arrived. So when the water is foaming, you know, when it is moving, so existence is always there present, and it kind of gives off a foam in the sense of this, what you see. It's a tremendous, you can say. That's why they say Vedanta, Vedanta. Yes, Vedanta is there. now should I go to the Himalayas and go to the cave and meditate? No, you don't need to go there. You can do all whatever you want to do here. Swami Vivekananda one time was criticizing something. And Shri Ramakrishna is saying, hey, it's you who keep on singing, whatever exists is you, O Lord. Jo kuch hai, so tu hi hai. Whatever is it, then he caught himself. Oh, yeah. This is how we arrive at that. Tat. We stop here for now. I think because the next few verses also are in the same strain, but I'll look at it from a kind of a different perspective. How we can approach that today.